Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Gopi Janvalava Jaya Giridhari Gopi Janvalava Jaya Giridhari Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Yashoda Nandana Jaya Janaranjana Yashoda Nandana Jaya Janaranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Yashodanandana Janaranjana Yashodanandana Janaranjana Yashodanandana Janaranjana Yashodanandana Janaranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Vihare Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Vihare Jai Sri Sri Radha Madhava Ki Jai Jai Sri Sri Radha Parthasarthi Ki Jai Jai Sri Sri Radha Madan Mohan Ki Jai Jai Sri Sri Radha Govinda Ki Jai Jai Sri Sri Radha Gopinath Ki Jai Jai Sri Sri Radha Shama Sundar Ki Jai Jai Sri Sri Radha Damodar Ki Jai Guru Premanandi Hari Hari Bol Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So, I was told that today I was going to read from Chaitanya Charitamrita, but looks like I'm reading from Bhagavatam. So, yeah, I mean, Chaitanya Charitamrita is nectar. So here in the Srimad Bhagavatam, Sukadeva Goswami is describing the movements of Surya. So Surya is moving in a way that no one can really understand because it's achintya, but he's moving under the control and Shakti of Bhagavan Sri Krishna. So everything is under the control and Shakti of Sri Krishna, just like we say that Brahma created the Srishti, he did the Srishti. But he was a secondary creator. The primary creator was Govinda, who played his flute, and through that sound of the flute, he gave the knowledge to Brahmaji to create. So in this way, Brahma is the secondary creator. Krishna is the Ishvara Parama Krishna, he's the supreme creator. So here we're reading about the ecstatic manifestation of Sri Lord Chaitanya, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Guru Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Guru Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Guru Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So, which shloka are we reading today? Text 72? Yeah, okay. Stamba kampa prasheda varna ashu avsvara veda deha hoile pulake vyapita alamba kamba prasheda varshanya ashu svara veda deha hoile pulake vyapita Hashe kande nache gai, uti dhai, chane bhume pariya murchita. Hashe kande nache gai, uti dhai, chane bhume pariya murchita. This one is already done, 73. Okay, now they want 73. He said 72. 73. Marchaya hoila sakshatkara uti kore huhunkara kohi e aila mahashay Krishner madhuri gune nana brahma hoye mane shloka pare karo ye nischay. Okay. Murchaya hoila satchakara uti kore huhunkara kohi ei aila mahashay. Krishnera madhuri gane nana brahme hoya mune Shloka pari koraye nischay. Murchaya hoela shashatkara uti kore huhunkara kohe e aila mahashay. Krishnera madhuri gune nana brahma hoye mane shloka pari koraye nischay. Murchaya in the swoon hoila there was Sakshatkara, direct meeting, uti, getting up, kore, does, huhumkara, tumultuous sound, kohe, says, thus, aila, he has come, maha ashay, the great personality, Krishnera, of Lord Krishna, Madhuri, sweetness, Gune, by qualities, Nana, various, Brahma, mistakes, Hoi, are, Mone, in the mind, Shloka, the verse, Pari, reciting, Koraye, does, Nischay, ascertainment, also without doubt, Nischay, no doubt about it, 100% guarantee. Translation by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was thus unconscious, he happened to meet the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Consequently, he got up and immediately made a tumultuous sound, very loudly declaring, "Now Krishna, the great personality, is present." In this way, because of Krishna's sweet qualities, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu made different types of mistakes in his mind. Thus, by reciting the following verse, he ascertained the presence of Lord Krishna. So this is very interesting. Murchaya. Murchaya means that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was overcome by emotion and he lost external consciousness. But he still had internal consciousness. And in that internal consciousness, he happened to see the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. How wonderful, huh? Consequently, he immediately stood up and immediately made a loud sound, hunkar, Haribo! Very loudly saying, now Krishna, the great personality, is present. Because he saw him face to face in his heart. In this way, due to Krishna's sweet qualities, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu made some errors in his mind. He became a little confused. And thus, he began reciting the following verse to give the ascertainment of the presence of Lord Krishna without any doubt. Here's the verse that he chanted in Sanskrit. Madhasvayam na madhura jyoti mandalam nu madhuryam eva nu mano nayanam mitam nu veni mricho nu mama jivita valabhanu krishnoyam abhyadayate mama lochanaya. So in the mood, in the attitude of Radharani, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu addressed the gopis. My dear friends, where is that Krishna, Cupid personified, who has the effulgence of a kadamba flower, who is sweetness itself, the nectar of my eyes and mind? He who loosens the hair of the gopis, who is the supreme source of transcendental bliss and my life and soul, has he come before my eyes again? So this is another verse from the Krishna Karnamrita. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is now totally in the mood of Srimati Radharani, surrounded by her gopis. And she said, oh, Amar Shakigan, Kotai Krishna. Krishna Kotai, where is that Krishna? He is the personification of Kamadev. He is more effulgent than the kadamba flower, which is very sweet. But Krishna is sweetness itself. He is the source of sweetness. Krishna is the nectar for my eyes and the nectar for my mind. And Krishna, he gives so much ecstasy to the gopis that their hair becomes loose. And he is the supreme source of transcendental bliss for the gopis and the life and soul of the gopis. And then Radharani says, has he come before my eyes again? Have I again seen this Krishna? So this was the mood of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, because he was experiencing that ecstasy from bhakti, bhakti yoga, from chanting the holy name. Harinama, Harinama, Harinama eva kevalam, kalo nascheva, nascheva, nascheva gutira yata. Only chanting the holy name brings us in direct contact with the Supreme Lord and takes us to our ultimate destination, Goloka Vrindavan. So in the beginning, when we chant, we're chanting with awe and reverence. We come into the temple room, we bow down, pranam, Jai Sri Krishna, like that. But as we chant more and more, as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was chanting more and more, he began to feel a separation of Krishna. Kotai Krishna, where is Krishna? Where is Krishna? But as he chanted more and more, he became fully conscious that Krishna and his holy name are non-different. So then he went from the Vipralambha Bhava, feeling separation for Krishna, to the Sambhog Bhava, union with Krishna. Has he now come before my eyes? Are we now in union together? I saw him in my heart. He was there. So this is the transformation Mahaprabhu was going through. This is a transformation that we all go through. In the beginning, we chant with awe and reverence. Then we begin to get a little advanced in Krishna consciousness, and we begin thinking, why am I here in this material world? What have I committed? Some sinful karma that I'm now here, no longer with my Lord in Goloka Vrindavan. I'm feeling this Vipralambha Bhav, and I'm doing seva in the Vipralambha Bhav. But as my chanting of the Mahamantra becomes more and more Shuddha, pure, then I begin to realize that Krishna and his holy name are non-different. And I see Krishna in my heart of hearts. I taste the name of Krishna with my lips. I hear the nectar of Krishna's holy name through my ears. And in this way, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is experiencing this. And we also will experience this, because this is the process. If we do it correctly, the process, you get the result, right? Teek? And if we do it wrong, if we do not follow the process correctly, we don't get the result. Teek? Therefore, we can all judge in our own heart, how am I making advancement? Am I getting result or not? If I'm getting result, that is very good. Keep on chanting more and more purely, fixing the heart, soul, and mind only on Krishna. But if I'm not getting the result, if I'm finding faults in other Vaishnavas, then I should immediately try and correct my mistake, my error. What am I doing wrong that I'm not getting the result? So then in the next shloka, Mahaprabhu began to speak like this. Kiba e shakshat kama duti bimba murti tilman Kima dhurya svaya murti manta Kiba mana netra sava Kiba prana valava Satya Krishna aila netrananda. So this is what Mahaprabhu was saying. Is Cupid personified, present within the effulgence and reflection of the Kadamba tree? Is he the same person, personified sweetness, who is the pleasure of my eyes and mind, who is of my life and soul? Has Krishna actually come before my eyes? So in other words, Mahaprabhu is beginning to see Krishna everywhere, in his heart of hearts, and also in the effulgence and reflection of the Kadamba tree. Just like Prahlad Maharaj saw the Supreme Lord Vishnu everywhere. And when Hiranyakashipu said, is he in this pillar? Oh yes, he's also in this pillar, no doubt. Nischay. So Hiranyakashipu took his sword to smash the pillar, and out came Lord Nrsingadev! And killed the demon to protect his devotee. So Krishna will always protect his devotee. And we should always know that. We should always be completely 100% convinced that Krishna will protect his devotee, that he will protect me because I am his devotee. This is called Shraddha. If I'm not convinced that Krishna will protect me, then I'm not at the level of Shraddha, I'm at the level of Andha-Vishwas. You understand the difference? So, under Vishwas, there's no realization, no upalabdhi. But with Shraddha, you're having upalabdhi. You're having deep understanding. Because we can see the hand of Krishna in our life. We see how Krishna is arranging things in our life. Someone may say, oh, Krishna will bless you that this and this will happen. And then 2 or 3 days later, this and this happens. And you think back, oh, someone said that Krishna will do, now he's doing. I'm seeing Krishna's hand in my life. So we should always understand this, that Krishna is there for us. Because Krishna says, 4:11, Bhagavad Gita 4:11, who knows that shloka? Ye yatamam prapadyante tamstataiva bhajam yaham. Bhagavad Gita 4:11. As you approach me, I reciprocate accordingly. So if you're approaching Krishna, that I'm taking complete shelter of you, then he reciprocates accordingly and he gives you complete shelter. That's what he says. But if we approach Krishna and we're not taking complete shelter, maybe I'm taking complete shelter in my bank account, or in my business, or in science, I'm taking some other shelter, then Krishna says, okay, good, you take that shelter. Which shelter do we want? We want Krishna to reciprocate and give us his shelter, because his is the supreme shelter. So Mahaprabhu was experiencing this and sharing it with his bhaktas. So in the next shloka, he's saying like this, Guru Nana Bhavagana Shishya Prabhur Tanumana Nanarite Satatana Chaya Nirveda Vishadadanya Chapalya Harsha Daryamanya Enriche Prabhura Kalayai. Actually, Jai. Translation. As the spiritual master chastises the disciple and teaches him the art of devotional service, so all the ecstatic symptoms of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, including despondency, moroseness, humility, restlessness, joy, endurance, and anger, instructed his body and mind. In this way, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu passed his time. So this is a very, very important shloka. The ecstatic symptoms of Lord Chaitanya are here explained. Despondency. I'm feeling unhappy because I'm not with Krishna. I'm feeling his separation. How can I live without Krishna? Why am I here without Krishna? What karmas did I perform that I took birth in the material world and forgot about Krishna and left his association? So this is the mood of the advanced devotee, vipralamba, despondency, moroseness. And due to that, he's lamenting, oh, I am useless, my human form of life is wasted, I left Krishna, why should I live? How can I live without Krishna? Better I take my life, better I go jump in the Ganga immediately and end everything. But humility, he's so humble. Trinadapi sunichena, more humble than the blade of grass. He's seeing that everyone is actually advancing in Krishna consciousness. He says, oh, you are my Guru. You are getting Krishna's mercy, the kripa of Krishna. You please give me your shelter. You let me serve you. Let me become das, anudas. You are my Prabhu. This is humility. We're seeing everybody else as Prabhu, that they're getting Krishna's mercy. Only me, I am bereft of Krishna's mercy. I am so fallen. So that's humility. Restlessness. How can I be peaceful when I'm separated from Krishna? I have to do some seva. I have to do something, some real positive seva to get free from this Maya Shakti and return back and take shelter of the Krishna Shakti. So that's restlessness. And then joy. He's ecstatic, understanding that I have a chance. I'm not stuck in this Maya forever. I can return back home, back to Godhead. I just have to chant the holy name and follow the process of Bhakti Yoga. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And because of that joy, he has endurance. He can go on chanting thousands and thousands of holy names 3 lakhs of holy names Haridas Thakur was chanting. You just keep on chanting. You have so much Shakti, so much endurance, because you're getting so much nectar from the chanting. And then anger. Anger comes there to protect the Vaishnavas. When we see someone is going to harm a Vaishnava, we become immediately angry. We want to protect that Vaishnava. Just like Nrsimhadev protected Prahlad. Just see Bhagavan Sri Krishna. He's so wonderful. Even though we're serving him, he's also serving us. He became the servant of Prahlad Maharaj to protect him. Krishna became the servant of Arjuna to drive his chariots. So humble. So we have so much love for Krishna. And when we see that someone's going to speak ill words or find fault with a Vaishnava who's sincerely serving Krishna, then we become angry. And in this way, his body and his mind were instructed with these things by the holy name, just like the spiritual master instructs the disciple, just like we're reading Prabhupada's books and getting instructions from Srila Prabhupada. So Prabhupada is instructing us, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the holy name, was instructing him. Krishna directly was instructing him. So then in the next shloka, Chandidas Vidyapati Rayar Natakakiti Karnam Rita Shri Gita Govinda Swarupa Ramananda Shane Mahaprabhu Ratridine Gaya Shune Paramahananda. So he spent his entire day reading the poetry and singing the songs of Chandidas, Vidyapati, listening to the quotations from the Jagannath Vallabh Nataka, from Krishna Karnamrita and Gita Govinda. Thus, in the association of Swarup Damodar and Rai Ramananda, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu passed his days and nights chanting and hearing with great pleasure. So Vidyapati was a great poet before the time of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu from Mithila. And Chandidas was although he has the name Chandidas, which is Durga Devi, he's a servant of Durga Devi, but he has the understanding that Durga Devi is Vaishnava Devi. Vaishnava Devi. Ma Vaishnava Devi. Durga Devi, she protects the Vaishnavas. Because she received the glance of Mahavishnu to procreate all the living entities in the material world. Karanadakshayi Vishnu, lying on the bed of Ananta Sech, which is Balaram, being massaged by Lakshmi Devi. He glances at Durga Devi, and all the living entities take birth in the material world. So there's an intimate connection between Vishnu and Durga. So we should understand that Durga is not someone that we are fearful of, that we don't like, but she's Vaishnava Devi. And when you first enter into Vrindavan, the first temple you come is to Ma Vaishnava Devi. And she's there with her 8 arms and weapons and a lion, and also Hanumanji, because they're all for protecting the Vaishnavas. So the Vaishnavas will be protected in Vrindavan. So in this way, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he was singing the songs, hearing the recitation, listening to the quotations from all these wonderful Krishna Karnamrita by that blind devotee, what's his name? Yeah, I can't hear. Right. Bilbamanga Thakur. At my age, sometimes we forget these things. And Gita Govinda, which was from Jayadev. So he was spending his days and nights chanting and hearing, Shravanam and Kirtanam, in great pleasure. Then the next shloka, this is the last shloka. Purira Vatsalya Mukha Ramanandir Shuddha Shakka Govinda Jera Shuddha Dasyaras Gadadhara Jaganandanda Swarupera Mukara Sananda Echari Bhave Prabhuvash. Among his associates, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu enjoyed paternal, loving affection from Paramananda Puri, friendly affection from Ramananda Roy, unalloyed service from Govinda and others, and humors of conjugal love with Gadadhar, Jagadananda, and Sarup Damodar. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu enjoyed all these four mellows, and thus he remained obliged to his devotees. So, we're taught that we approach Krishna either in Dasya Ras, Shakya Ras, Vatsalya Bhav, or Madhurya Bhav. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was experiencing this from his bhaktas, from his associates. Srila Prabhupada's purport. Paramananda Puri is said to have been Uddhava in Vrindavan. His affection with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu were on the platform of paternal love. This was because Paramananda Puri happened to be the godbrother of the spiritual master of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Similarly, Ramananda Roy, who is considered an incarnation of Arjuna, and by some an incarnation of Vishaka Devi, enjoyed unalloyed fraternal love with the Lord. Unalloyed personal service was enjoyed by Govinda and others. In the presence of his most confidential devotees like Gadadhar Pandit, Jagadananda Pandit, and Sarup Damodar, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu enjoyed the ecstatic conditions of Srimati Radharani in her conjugal relationship with Krishna. Absorbed in these four transcendental mellows, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu resided in Jagannath Puri, feeling very much obliged to his devotees. So this is a very, very important shloka and a very, very important verse. And so we should understand this very clearly, and I will do my best to try to get you to the deep understanding. Not the surface understanding, but the deep understanding. So here it's explained how Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was enjoying in the association of his devotees while he was serving the Lord. He was experiencing pleasure and joy and happiness. But sometimes in Iskcon, we say, you're not the enjoyer. How many people have heard that you're not the enjoyer? We're not the enjoyer, but what does Krishna say? Shloka 9, text number 2. Raja Vijay Raja Guyam, Pavitram Idam Uttamam, Pratyakshavagamarv Dharmyam, Susukam Kartum Avyayam. That this teaching, this bhakti yoga, is the topmost yoga, Raja Yoga. It's the most confidential yoga. It's the purest yoga, the purest knowledge. Raja Vidya Raja Yoga, Raja Vidya Raja Guyam, Pavitram Idam Uttamam. It's the most transcendental knowledge. Pratyaksha, and you can experience this directly. Pratyaksha. This is how we experience things. We have eyes. Seeing, this is pratyaksha. Feeling, that's pratyaksha. If you take away the pratyaksha and you're blind, you can't see anything. What's the value of that? We're given eyes so we can see. Pratyakshavāgamam dharmyam, that you can see directly and experience directly the meaning of this dharma of bhakti yoga. Susukam kartum. Kartum means what you do. Susukam kartum. Everything you do is sukam. Sukam kartum. But not just sukam, susukam. More joyful than joyful. Not just joyful, more joyful than joyful. Supremely joyful. Susukam kartum, everything you do, avyayam. And that joy is always increasing, never coming to an end. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was living that example. And the devotees in his association were experiencing that joy, serving him. So we should always be joyful. And I remember in Los Angeles, this wonderful class that Prabhupada gave. And in this class, he said so many wonderful things. And I'll share with you some of the things he said. One of the things he said was, morose means Maya. Morose means Maya. It's very poetic, yeah? Morose means Maya. Because we should be joyful. We're in the association of Krishna. We're serving Krishna. We see Krishna every day. We're chanting his holy name. We're in his association. Susukam kartu. Morose means Maya. But yet people say you're not the enjoyer. Of course we're the enjoyer. We're not the sufferer. The people in the material world, they're the sufferers. They're suffering the karmas. They're suffering from other living entities. They're suffering from so many things. But they think they're enjoying. But we're not the sufferers. We're the enjoyers. Susukam kartu avyayam. So this is being explained here. So these conjugal relationships with Krishna, these paternal relationships with Krishna, these friendly relationships with Krishna, the servant mood in serving Krishna, the devotees were ecstatic, rendering that service, and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was blissful receiving that service. Now I have my own deities at home. We have a beautiful altar, we have our Radha Damodar, and every morning I wake early, take my bath, chant my japa, I go into my kitchen, and I cook for Radha Damodar. And then I make the plates ready, and I come, put them on the altar, and I offer. Of course, my wife wakes up Radha Damodar. She wakes them and does all that puja. And then I come with the prasad and do the offering. So I've been doing this for quite some time, many, many years. So one day I had a realization, I think this realization came from Krishna, that Radha Damodar, they're young, they're 3 years old, they're children. And I was feeling that I'm not really serving them, but I'm like their parent. I'm like serving them in the Vatsalya Ras, rather than the Ras of Dasya. And my wife, she always referred to the deities, Radha Damodar, as our children, our kids. And she experienced that first. Then I began to experience it, that I'm feeding them, I'm going out, I also go out and do the shopping. I buy the vogue, I cut everything up, I cook it, I prepare it, and then I offer it. Just exactly what a father does for his children, Radha Damodar. And so I became ecstatic and blissful in that seva. So then Krishna started giving more and more realizations. Susukam kartum avyayam. You should be blissful in all of your services. Pratyakshavagavam dharmyam, because you're directly perceiving and experiencing the truth of this dharma. Therefore, susukam kartum avyayam. Very important verse. This is a very important shloka here. We should understand that. So remember what Prabhupada said, morose means Maya. Then he said something else. It's very interesting. So you should all become fixed up. Fixed up means solid. Fixed up means solid. So I was thinking about it. Fixed up means solid. And as I was thinking more and more and more about it, I realized he meant solid, no holes, no gaps for Maya to come in. Completely 100% solid seva, 24 hours a day. No gaps in the seva. So, fixed up means solid. So until we're doing that solid 100% seva, then we're not fixed up. But the goal is to become fixed up in devotional service, to become 100% convinced, to take 100% shelter of Krishna. Is there any other shelter that can compare to the shelter of Krishna? Every other shelter is inferior. We should take the superior shelter in all instances, in every instance. So the perfect example of that, of course there's many examples in Shastra, but one of my favorites is Maharaj Parikshit. So Maharaj Parikshit, he was about to kill the personality of Kali. Kali begged for mercy. So Maharaj Parikshit, he's a Vaishnava. So he has a soft heart. So he said, okay. And he said, you can't stay anywhere else except wherever there is intoxication, meat eating, non-veg eating, gambling, and what's the fourth one? Illicit sex, right. Those 4 places you can only reside, nowhere else. But what Maharaj Parikshit forgot, he was wearing a crown made of gold. So Kali was there. So when he came to the ashram of Shamika Rishi, and he was tired and exhausted and he was thirsty, he immediately said, Rishi, get up and give me some water. Now the Rishi was in deep dhyan, meditation. He didn't get up. So Maharaj Parikshit, influenced by anger, which is a symptom of Kali, he yelled, I need water, immediately get up, stop whatever you're doing and serve me, I am your king. Shamika Rishi was in such deep meditation, he didn't even hear. So then, out of a very heavy anger, Maharaj Parikshit, who was a pure devotee, he saw a snake. He grabbed that snake and he put it around the neck of Shamika Rishi as a garland. It's a great aparad. This is a great aparad. And Shamika Rishi, that woke him up, came out of his dhyan. Now his son Shringi saw that, and he cursed Maharaj Parikshit. You will die in 7 days. You'll be bit by Taksha, right? What was the name? Yeah, Tataksha, right. Which is a dragon. It's a snake that flies and breathes fire. In English we say dragon. So what did Maharaj Parikshit do? Did he search for a remedy? No. He had a realization. Yes, he's right. I committed an offense. I won't take shelter of some remedies because the Brahmins, everyone was going to offer a remedy to him. You'll be protected. No, I don't want any remedy. I'm just going to take shelter of the Lord because I see this as a benediction. I have only 7 days to live. This is a boon. Who is granted the amount of time that they know they're going to leave? Now I can fix up my mind on the lotus feet of the Lord and prepare to leave and go back home, back to Godhead. So he took complete shelter of the Lord. He didn't take any other shelter of any other remedy. We should follow in the footsteps of Maharaj Parikshit. I'm trying to follow in the footsteps of Maharaj Parikshit. I'm not looking for any external remedy that may be offered in the material world, from science, from the bank account, from business, from the wife, from anything. Just I want the shelter of the lotus feet of Krishna. So we don't seek a remedy, we just see that whatever happens to me, I deserve it because of my past karmas. Now let me take shelter of Krishna and fix my mind at the lotus feet. And this was also the prayer of Kulashekar Maharaj. Now when I still have some consciousness, let my mind take shelter at the lotus feet. at the lotus feet of the Lord and remember him constantly. So this was the mood of the pure devotees of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Parikshit Maharaj, Kulashekar Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj. Prahlad Maharaj had no fear. Abhaya. We talk about Abhaya. Abhaya Charanara Vindare. That song by Govinda Das. When we take shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord, we become Abhaya, fearless. And if we're not taking shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord, then that's when we have fear. Fear is coming. If we see that someone has fear, we know they're not taking shelter. Abhaya charanara vindare. We have to take shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord. Prabhupada took shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord. So we should follow in the footsteps of the great Mahajans, and our life will be successful. And we will get the blessings. And never mind that I may not be perfect at the end of my life. The goal is not to become perfect. I remember one class, another time Prabhupada said, the devotees should become perfect. That does not mean perfect like Krishna is perfect. That is not possible. You become perfect only by following the process of bhakti yoga. Just perfect in following the process. And even if you may not be 100% pure at the end of the life, Krishna will carry what you lack, preserve what you have, and carry what you lack. That's what he says in 922 shloka. So, because when Krishna says, Sarva dharma parityaja mamekam sharam vaja aham twam sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami, forget all the other dharmas, make me number one. That's the prime dharma. Surrender to that, sharanam. Then I will take away all your pap karmas and mokshayishyami, bring you back home, back to Godhead. He will do his part if we do our part. Just surrender to him. And you don't have to become perfect. He just says, Masu Chaha, don't have doubt about this. Don't worry about this. In other words, all we have to do is trust Krishna. Don't have a doubt means trust me. Don't worry means have confidence in me. So as long as we trust Krishna, that is our perfection. We just take shelter in Krishna and nowhere else. And then we're perfect. Not perfect like Krishna is perfect, because Prabhupada said that's not possible. But perfect as a disciple, as a practicing Vaishnava. Just take shelter of Krishna. In all situations. Maharaj Parikshit, very good example. Prahlad Maharaj, so many tribulations he was put into. He just took shelter of Krishna. That's why for Smaranam, Prahlad Maharaj, he attained perfection through Smaranam. And Parikshit Maharaj, he attained perfection only through Shravanam. All he did was Shravanam, and only for 7 days. In 7 days, he went back home, back to Godhead. Didn't take long, because he surrendered to the lotus feet. Dhruva Maharaj took 6 months. Then he surrendered. Katvanga Maharaj, 1 moment, he surrendered instantly. We read in Bhagavatam. So, choice is ours. How long do we want to take before we surrender? 1 moment, 7 days, 6 months, 20 years, a whole lifetime, 3 or 4 lifetimes. The choice is ours. I made my choice. This is my last life. And I travel around the world doing prachar, doing kirtan, sharing the teachings of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And my travels, I have a name for my travels. It's called my farewell tour of the material world. I'm going to all these places, and that's it, because I'm never seeing them again, because I'm leaving. It's my farewell tour, going back home, back to Godhead. Thank you very much. Are there any questions? one question in the microphone.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Vaiyasaki Prabhu, I thank you from the core of my heart. It's a beautiful lecture like you always give. So my question is like this Corona days, people were wearing mask and hand sanitizing, all these things. So is it taking shelter of science or is it okay?
Okay, taking mask. You know, the mask will not protect you. Krishna will protect you. Who will take shelter of the mask over Krishna? Anybody? No. So why do we wear a mask? Because the karmis, the other people, think that the mask is going to give them protection. Okay, so for your benefit, we'll wear the mask. But I'm taking shelter of Krishna. They may take shelter of mask, but I'm taking shelter of Krishna. But just so that you don't become disturbed, I also wear a mask. This is called humility. Trinadapi sunichena, I'm das, 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 anadas. Or you're disturbed if I don't wear a mask? No problem, I wear the mask. Now there's another reason why we wear the mask. When I was coming in the car from Vrindavan, as we entered into the precincts of New Delhi, the driver said, now we have to all put on the masks because if the police catch us, there's a 2,000 rupee fine. So to save Krishna's money, we put on the mask. It's another reason. But we're always taking shelter of Krishna.
Thank you.
Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada, oh, you have another? Okay. One more question.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, you very nicely explained in starting. So I got a question that when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is chanting the Lord's name and says that Lord's name and Krishna is non-different, so how he is experiencing then Vipralam Bhav while chanting the holy name of the Lord, associating in the form of holy name, how he is experiencing Vipralam Bhav?
Okay, very good question. How is it that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who knows that Krishna and the holy name are non-different, how is he experiencing Vipalamba Bhav? That's your question? Well, he's experiencing Vipalamba Bhav because he's in the material world. Why am I here? I already explained this in the class. What happened that I left Goloka Vrindavan to come here, and now I'm feeling separation from the holy Dham, from all the associates. Yes, I'm feeling separation from that seva that I was doing there eternally. Now I've come here, and temporarily I'm forgetting Krishna, and I'm thinking that I'm this deha. You know, everyone is Atma. But when we understand this tattva of Bhakti Yoga, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Sa Mahatma Sudurlabha. It's so rare to understand this Bhakti Yoga tattva that the Atma becomes Mahatma just by understanding and living this life, Krishna says. So we are, in Krishna's opinion, all of us are Mahatmas. Now, in my opinion, I'm not thinking I'm Mahatma, but it's wonderful that Krishna is thinking like that. Sa Mahatma Sudurlabha. Very rare. He's understanding. Now, if we don't understand and we have big ego, ahankara vimudatma, then the atma becomes muda due to ahankar. But what kind of muda? Vimuda, the biggest muda of all the other mudas. Not just normal muda, vimuda, due to ahankara. And that can happen to us also, because we're chanchala. Sometimes there's ahankara, and sometimes there's humility. So our minds are chanchala. So sometimes we're really understanding that Krishna is in the holy name, sometimes we don't understand. So we all go through these things. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he's teaching us by his own example. We shouldn't think that he's having a misconception. or that he's under the influence of Maya. Just like Prabhupada explained it, when Bhaktivinoda Thakur thinks, oh, I'm lower than a worm in stool, we shouldn't think that he's lower than a worm in stool. So why is Bhaktivinoda Thakur saying like that? Because he's an exalted Vaishnava, a pure devotee. He's saying like that because he's actually seeing Krishna face to face within his heart. And because he saw Krishna and realized how great is Krishna, Ishvara Parama Krishna, and here I am in the material world. How could I have left? I must be like a worm. Because he's seen Krishna. We don't think we're lower than a worm in stool because we haven't seen Krishna. We have no idea of the greatest of Krishna. We have andavishwas. We know he's great, but we don't really know how great. But the pure devotees, they know how great. And when we understand how great, then we'll also have that mood. So the moods and the feelings that we have and the understandings of the tattva is based on our upalabdhi, on our realization. If we have naram, shraddha, or andavishwas, or full padma, shakti, upalabdhi, because Krishna says, sarvasya chaham hridi sanavishto matasmitir jnanam aponam cha. So that jnana, understanding, and that remembrance that I'm das, 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 anudas, remembrance that I'm the eternal servant of Krishna, that I'm the spirit soul, not this body, then I'm getting Krishna Shakti. Krishna's giving that from within the heart. But he also he has Sri Shakti, Smriti Shakti, Gyan Shakti, and the Apohan Shakti that we forget. I forget that I'm spirit soul. I actually think I'm this body. I think I'm born in Uttar Pradesh. I think I'm Indian. Here's my passport. See, I'm Indian. Here's my proof. Oh, I'm American. This is a misconception. So the true understanding comes from Krishna. So when we become convinced 100%, when we surrender, Krishna reciprocates accordingly. So we want that reciprocation. Okay? Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. And now, the next seva is a very important seva also, because we're going to experience now Krishna in his Sambhog Bhava. We're going to experience Sambhog Bhava when we honor Mahaprasad. This is the Sambhog Bhava. Mahaprasad Seva. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki!
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.